Hi everyone, and I've got a bit of a cold, I'm afraid, so probably sound a bit weird. I've just done one of these flatbed panels, put a wash on, and I thought I would just show you again how I would do this. Just if you're not sure what a wash is, or you know how it's done, how I do it anyway. And I mean, there is a video, remember, of the pod, the MC6 Radio Shack thing that I did, but it maybe wasn't so clear on there because it was dark green and dark brown. But this is going to be a lot clearer for you to see. So I figured, why not? I'll interrupt my Game of Thrones watching and do one of these live before my paint dries up, and you can see how quick it is and how long I wait, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, so let's get stuck in. Right, so here's the panel that I've done. Apologies, I can't see the phone screen, so I'm having to keep looking to make sure you guys can see it. So this is the one I've done on the inside. It's got like a dusty brown wash, and as you see, I mean exactly that, a wash. So what I'm using is purely, I picked the wrong thing. Sorry, I'm not feeling so good now. I'm using Tamiya, Tamiya flat brown. There's barely any left, to be honest with you. And I just decant it into a little mixing pot, a little plastic pot here, and I water it down a little bit with some water, not surprisingly. And I take my brush and I just paint it on. You know, with this, what I'm trying to do is cover the whole thing, and I really just want, even if I'm going to wipe a lot of it off, it will leave a sort of dusty kind of finish on the red. If you water it down too much, it won't stick on the red, it'll kind of blister off and you don't get the right coverage. So you really want to just get this not too thick, because you just waste paint, and not too thin that it doesn't, see it's blistering a little bit there. It will cover eventually, but you water it down too much, it won't. And obviously if it blisters, what you're going to end up with is a completely virginal piece of paintwork, which might look a bit odd, might be what you want. If I was trying to keep the paintwork relatively nice, relatively unsullied, sorry, Game of Thrones reference, I would water this down a lot more, and I would just try and run it into the gaps, you see. I'm not doing this very carefully, but do you see? So I would run it into these, along the gap there, and it will capillary its way along, and then I would just wipe the excess off with a cloth, or my finger, and you would end up with a highlighted line, you know, like down here. I would just run it in, okay, and then let it dry, and then tidy it up a little bit with the brush. But in this case, what I'm trying to do is just cover the whole thing, so it's really, it's not fine art, it's not precision, it's not brain surgery. You just have to try a few times to get the right consistency. When it does dry, the important thing with this technique, I find, is with this paint, is getting the drying time right. Because what happens next is I'm going to rub it off, okay, and I don't want to rub it when it's wet, because then it will all come off and you're left with virtually nothing on your paint job. If you leave it too long, obviously you know how acrylic goes, right? It's really applicable and you know, removable until it's gone properly dry, until it's gone off, which paint by paint and possibly jar by jar will be different times, from a minute to half an hour. But I reckon this time of paint, generally speaking, I think I will probably get this end done and the other end will be ready. I mean, it's quick. And obviously the paint that's in my little pot here, can you still all see this? Yeah, my paint that's in my little pot will dry, it's beginning to dry up as well. Alright, maybe you can tell. So, alright, so this end, you see how it's gone dry? See, there's the wet spot, and it's gone dry around there. So we're almost there. Might just cover this a little bit more. It's a little bit thin on the, you know, it's quite red still. And as I say, so the idea is, what I've done, to return to this one I made earlier, So you can basically see what I'm going to do. I'm going to rub back, but can you maybe make out that there is a sort of dusty, it has got a dusty coat to it. If I wet my finger and rub my finger on it, it would go back down to the gloss red. But I like that dusty colour. That's the used look I'm after. And obviously, if the more of the heavier pigment you leave in the panel lines and in the corners and things, the more you're emphasising the idea that it's dirty and it's got muck stuck in there and all sorts of things. Whether you leave large swathes of it like this is entirely up to you. So you can rub, I'll take my old sock, which I've got here, and I can rub that off. Okay, and that will go. See? So it really is, you know, you can work at it a bit at a time, and then you can just see how you get on. And if you want to take a bit more off, like I want to take a bit more of this end off here, then I can just get in there. Now it isn't a very precise science, you know. See, so I can just cut that back a little bit more, and it goes. See that big tooth thing there, this lump here? Get in there, and you can sort of start to take it away. So it's pretty cool. Leave it half an hour, and you're kind of stuck with it. I did have trouble on the cab because bits of the paint were going off faster than others, and it was really weird. There was one particular panel on the side of the truck that it went off almost instantly, and I could not shift it. In the end, I had to take some very fine sandpaper to try and break the acrylic down a little bit. It was really weird. So it's all a bit hit and miss, isn't it? But so here we go. Let's take this dry end here and get this paint out of the way, because I'm going to end up clouting it. So you take a rag and you kind of, the softer the cloth, I think the better, because obviously you're not going to, the harder, the more abrasive the cloth, the more greater the risk of damaging the paint. Now, this is an old sock, it's not very soft. I did have a bit of yellow t-shirt that I used previously, which I would rather have used if I could have found it. So this will do for now. Now, so I've wet it a little bit, you can see. It's just a little bit, excuse me, in my water jar. I think I'm suffering from too much rattle can inhalation. I'm going to sue Terry after this. So a little bit of damp cloth, not wet, don't want water all over the place, just a damp cloth, and then we'll start. So you can see it's damp, and you can see what it does. Yeah. There you go. Now, you notice the direction I'm weathering? I'm not going that way. To me, the lines on these panels are running, in this case, top to bottom. But obviously I can't really get this in the right way, but they're running horizontally, so I would weather it horizontal. I'll do it horizontally. I won't do it that way. It doesn't seem right. There may be sometimes when I would, like a drip or a run, if I'm trying to mimic like water stain down the side of the roof, which I've done on the cab. But by and large, I will go with the panel line, the panel floor. If it's a circular panel, like on the side of the cab, I might go round, you know, so I can kind of just leave bits in the corners. You know, if I go round on here, I will end up with like little arcs. Can you see? Yeah, with little arcs here, you know. Yeah. So, but this way, I don't think so. I don't think so. So I can't talk on because obviously this is drawing. Acrylic waits for no man. So I will just rub away at this, and I can tell it's already beginning to just be a little bit hard work. I'm going to put a little bit more elbow grease in, and I am having to put some effort into this. Okay, this is not like just dab at it. You do have to kind of give this a bit of a, which is why I think it's. You see, that's now getting to be a little bit. So water on there. There you go. Can you see the panel bending? I'm putting quite a lot of effort in now, so I'm not going to dilly-dally, I'm going to get on with it. But it's all a random effect. You know, I'm not really planning on what's going to come off. I don't know from one swipe to the next how much is going to come off. The dampness of the cloth will make a difference. The amount of pressure you're applying, obviously, is going to make a difference as well. But the good thing is, you know, you're not damaging your paint, not unless you've got like a Brillo pad or something stupid, and you know, this is enamel red on here, remember, and it's been lacquered. Please lacquer your paint before you start weathering. Anything like this that you're going to do. I mean, if you're going to do fine art stuff with a tiny little paintbrush and dab bits of weathering on, cool, because you're not really going to gouge and rip at the thing like I am, and that's great. But if you're going to do anything like abrasive, or you're going to try and take something back off whatever you put on, please lacquer your paint, get it sealed, get it protected. It's one more layer that you've got to bite through by accident before you start taking paint off. And trust me, you think this is good, clean, fresh paint, you try putting another fresh bit on, oof, it'll stand out like a sore thumb. And then you've got to weather that, and you're back in the whole kind of vicious circle again. Right, so you've seen it doesn't take me long, and it really, I don't feel that there's any real art here. I don't feel, you know, I'm not Leonardo DiCaprio, Da Vinci, that's the fella. I'm no Mona Lisa painter here. This is just me rubbing off acrylic paint. I can't profess to be artistic in this sense. I've done this a hell of a lot of times. Maybe I'm a bit blasé about, you know, how much pressure I'm putting on and how I know to let the paint dry or whatever, you know. But, you know, it goes wrong sometimes. So I just lick the thing. I don't dip it in the water anymore. I find licking the cloth is just, you know, touching it on your tongue gets about the right amount of liquid on, but obviously it doesn't end up tasting very nice. So you see what I mean? I don't really want horizontal scratches, maybe now and again, but I really not. For me, this is the flow of the thing, and I don't want that. Yeah, confusing the matter. It's not meant to indicate specific marks. You know, I could take a knife and I could scratch this, fine. You know, because you'll have a kind of backstory as to what the scratch is for. But in terms of just overall weathering, I don't really want anyone looking at it and expecting and asking, why is it like that? Why has it got that there? You know, what's the story behind that mark? Why is this the way it is? You know, it's weathering. It should be fairly obvious. It should be self-explanatory. It's almost like, to me, a good weathering job is not something you see. You just accept it. Your mind just simply accepts it. And when you look at, I don't see too much in the RC world, to be honest with you, because it's the wrong world. If you look in the scale modelling world and you look at some of the 35th scale armour and aircraft to some degree, so a lot of it's overdone in my opinion, but every now and again you'll see a tank or an aircraft or some, you know, plastic kit, and you don't even notice that it's being weathered. You just instantly accept it because it's so real. So that's really what I'd like to try and aim at, is a situation where someone's going to see that inside the bed and they're not going to question it. You're not going to look at it and go, well, okay, that's what's that mark for? What's this mark there for? If I want that, I'll make a mark, but I'll make the specific mark. Like on the tie downs on the other side, you know, I've put all this silver, I've done all this salting on this side. I forgot to do it on this side, right? Believe it or not. The inside is where we can get the most hammer, right? And I didn't do any salting on it. Stupid boy. But here, right, these are little moulded in handles on each of the side panels, which I presume you would open and the panel will drop out or something like that. So I've done a lot more salting around each of these handles to try and, yeah, because there's a story that's going to get handled a lot. It's going to get opened and closed, opened and closed. So there's a story there. So that's this isn't for that. This weathering here I'm doing is literally just to give depth and to tell the viewer, be it in the flesh or on a video, that the truck has been used, it has a story, it has a life. It's not just rolled out of the factory. You know, that's the unweathered. This is the unweathered piece. You know, and imagine that moving past you on a video. You know, see, I don't get that this doesn't really tell me anything. It's just a flat bit of red, toy-like, whereas I'd like to hope that the one above actually, you know, has a bit of character. So there you go. That's how easy that was. I'm not going to labour the point any longer. The next thing I will do to these, and I'm going to finish this one off, and I'm going to do the other sides as well before my paint dries, is I will put the highlights on. Okay, so we'll come back to that. I'm going to get on with Game of Thrones now. Just started season 8. Right, more and on.